I'd like to call our meeting back to order. Ms. Fashani, will you read us out a close, please?
Yes, I move that the Roanoke County School Board come out of closed session for the following: to discuss ongoing personnel matters under investigation pursuant to the personal exemption at 2.23711A1 of the Code of Virginia, and to discuss the investigation of a student matter pursuant to the scholastic record exemption at 2.2-3711A2 of the Code of Virginia, and to certify to the best of each member's knowledge only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under this chapter, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the school board.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fajani,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am. Item 2.03, action from closed.
Madam Chair, I move that the school board uphold the recommendation of expulsion for student number 2024-2025-007.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fajani,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I have one more. I move that the school board uphold the recommendation of expulsion for student 2024-2025-008.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fajani,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am. Welcome, everyone. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4.01, announcement of changes in the agenda. We do not have any. Item 4.02, approval of agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fajani,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am. Item 5.01, recognition of Penn Forest Elementary first place state winners in the stock market game, Miss Kim Bradshaw and Miss Jenny Griffin. Welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Nicely, Dr. Soltis. I have with me this evening Jenny Griffin from Penn Forest Elementary, and I'm so excited because once again I'm bringing before you another award-winning elementary school and their students. So I'm going to let Jenny share a little bit about the stock market game and the success our students have had recently. Ms. Griffin?
Good evening. One of the things we do for PBIS incentives at Penn Forest for our 3rd through 5th graders is through good choices and getting their work done, they get to participate in a club. And one of those clubs is the stock market game. And students from all over the state of Virginia participate in this in all elementary, middle, and high school brackets. And I'm proud to tell you that the club that we had at Penn Forest Elementary School placed first in the entire state of Virginia. Not only did they place first for all elementary participants, they placed 9th when you compare all of elementary, middle, and high school students in the entire state of Virginia.
Wow.
So in case you were wondering and you want financial advice, their total portfolio was valued at $124,266. So these kids have done an incredible job. I'm going to go ahead and invite them up. They were led by one of our teachers here at Penn Forest, Jamie Fulcher, and we have 3 of our 4 team members today. And so I was going to go ahead and recognize each of these kids, and I know we have something for them over here. So boys, when they call your name, you can go up. We have a medal. They got a medal, they got a certificate, and they got a bag from the stock market, the heads of them in the Richmond. So we'll go ahead and give them their medal here, and then boys, you guys can go up and get your certificate when you go up, okay?
Ms. Griffin, can I ask him a question?
Yes. Are you looking for that financial advice?
I want to know what your favorite stocks are. So each of you give me one of your favorite stocks. What should I buy?
Amazon.
Amazon? Okay. Tesla?
Well,
All right.
This was done a little bit ago, so.
That's all right. It's coming back. We just got to wait it out.
Yeah.
Chevrolet? GM.
Nice.
How about that? All right. Thank you, guys.
A money prize.
All right, so we'll go ahead and start with Tajay Jackson Easley. Tajay, you can go on up. Here we have Levi Howe. And Nikhil Kanakamadala. And Kendra Bonney couldn't be with us, but we'll make sure she gets the certificate. You guys like the picture?
Great job. All right. Item 6.01, report by Student Advisory Council Representative, Mr. Nathan Rogers.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Nicely, and members of the board. The Student Advisory Council held its monthly meeting on March 5th with a focus on instruction, specifically our profile of a graduate and opportunity-ready portfolios. Mr. Riley, the Executive Director of Secondary Instruction, was our guest speaker this month. He led a presentation with students centered around being opportunity-ready, which includes preparing students not just for current jobs, but for careers and challenges that do not exist yet. Mr. Riley emphasized the importance of teaching and assessing essential life skills, such as critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. Students shared their experiences with opportunity-ready skills both in and outside of the classroom. Mr. Riley reviewed the opportunity-ready portfolio, where students curate artifacts demonstrating their opportunity-ready skills, and then formally defend their portfolio with an oral presentation given before an assessment panel. Beginning this year, successful defenses earn students the opportunity-ready graduation seal on their diplomas and a graduation cord representing their accomplishments. Students ask thoughtful questions about how they will be evaluated, the types of artifacts they can include, and how feedback will be provided to help them grow in the future. Mr. Riley reviewed the rubric and the calibration process used to ensure consistent scoring across all of our schools. During the school updates portion of our meeting, each school reported a mix of academic, athletic, and fine arts highlights, including state competition for winter sports and the start of spring sports seasons, band assessments and performances, upcoming spirit weeks, talent shows, and school-wide spring festivities, and academic competitions including DECA state qualifiers and regional debate competitions. Several schools provided updates on their ongoing anti-vaping efforts, with student-created video content being refreshed. We are in the process of finalizing plans for this year's Student Leadership Conference, which takes place on Friday, April 25th. The theme this year is Resilience, Rise Strong, Leadership Through Challenges. The next SAC meeting is scheduled for April 2nd, focusing on the final logistics and preparations for the Student Leadership Conference. Thank you for your continued commitment to empowering student voice and leadership across our district.
Thank you. Agenda item 8, the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
You have a second?
I'll second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Johnny,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am. Item 9.01, request to approve the exception to policy 3.44 for the purpose of naming the William Byrd High School softball field in honor of Coach Greg Barton, Dr. Jamie Soltis, and Mr. Travis Anderson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Nicely, during the previous work session, the board was asked to consider an exception to policy 3.44 to name the William Byrd High School softball field in honor of current coach Greg Barton. After the discussion, the topic was moved to an action item for this meeting. This is a reminder, policy 3.44 states that school facilities may be named for individuals who've made significant contributions but must not have been actively employed by the school division within the past year. However, William Byrd High School has submitted a formal request for an exception, citing Coach Barton's lasting impact on the school and the community. Mr. Anderson will now provide you with some examples of these accolades and impacts.
So I know I brought up especially some items during the work session, but I wanted to bring up a couple other things as well this evening. Some of the other accomplishments his team has had under his leadership: district champions in 2011, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. District Coach of the Year during those time periods as well. Also region champions in 2018 and 2019. And one of my favorite memories is when they were state champions in 2019 as well. And he's been Coach of the Year at those levels during those years as well, but also runner-up Coach of the Year many times as well. So not only has he had, success, on the ball field as well, but, I think y'all saw some of the community support that came out and how much of an impact he's had personally on those students' lives as well. So much so that, we even have, some alumni still teaching in our district, and that's just a testament to, how great he is and having an impact on our community positively.
Thank you, Trevor. So additionally, it is important to note that the schools followed all the procedural steps required outlined in the policy and in the admin reg, and the division level committee has confirmed compliance with those processes and procedures he's supposed to follow. So the staff recommendation would be that the board determine whether to approve the exception and officially name the field Greg Barton Field.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the exception to policy 3.44?
So moved.
I'll second.
Do we have discussion?
I would like to just say a couple quick words, but because we talked about this in the work session, we saw the folks that came in from the community to make this possible. But if you know Greg, and I do, he's been a good friend for a long time. He is passionate about that softball program. He loves it. He's up there working on the field. Not just him, but he's developed a core of folks that they do it together. And we've gotten many wonderful people in the county, Roanoke, that teach our kids and work with them in sports. But he is one that just loves what he does, and you just watch and you can see that. And the girls love him. And one thing that wasn't mentioned is that he's had some of his kids, students, go on to coach in the area as well. And one actually coached a state champion Northside team last year or year before. I'm not sure, but anyway. So, he's mentored a lot of kids and became young adults, and just a wonderful person, and the community loves him. And so I appreciate you bringing this forward, and absolutely recommend that we move forward.
Any other discussion?
Well, I would agree with Mr. Greenway. I haven't met Mr. Barton. Hopefully will soon. But the outpouring of the community at the last work session, current players, former players, I mean, there were grown, long out of school, obviously people there that had played for him and had some really kind words to speak. So when you have an outpouring of the community like that, I think you have to listen.
Well, thank you.
Anything else?
Well, I'll just add, I was at Parkway Brewery after listening to a friend in a band, and Miss Newcomb's neighbor was there, who was one of the speakers that night. And she looked at me and she said, "Do I know you?" And so I sat there for an hour listening to her testimony about this wonderful coach. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is.
And now I have a new friend. So my husband said I'll talk to anybody, but he was she was very kind, and she had nice things to say about him too. So
Yeah, I agree. There were so many people that showed up to support him, current players, former players. The travel coach, Alan Wood was
Alan
here,
Wood.
and
He's a great
he
guy too.
is, and
one
he's
of-
been involved for a long time, and he also has a travel organization in this area too. So to hear them speak about him is important, so.
And you bring up a really nice point. Thank you for bringing that up. Alan Wood does so many things behind the scenes that nobody knows about. And Greg, it's just a group of them. We probably, ought to have a secondary name of the field. I mean, it's a good group. And, they all work together, and just a really nice program.
Okay.
Well deserved.
And we've made the motion, so I think we just need to.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenwood,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Johnny,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9.02, request for approval of Mountain View Elementary and Burlington Elementary redistricting plan. Ms. Tammy Newcomb.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm here today to follow up on the proposed redistricting of the designated area currently assigned to Burlington Elementary School, requesting your approval to reassign this area to Mountain View Elementary School. The specific area under consideration has been presented and reviewed by the board during the last two work sessions. As a reminder, this area was selected based on proximity to Mountain View Elementary and to help balance enrollment between the two schools. As part of the communication process, letters were sent to all households within the affected area, informing them of the proposed change and inviting their feedback. Additionally, a meeting was held at Mountain View Elementary School to engage directly with the families and community members impacted by the proposed redistricting. I am pleased to report that the response has been entirely positive. Families expressed understanding and support for the change, and no negative responses or opposition has been received. With the community informed and in support, I respectfully request the board to take action tonight to approve the redistricting of the designated area from Burlington Elementary to Mountain View Elementary School, effective at the beginning of the next school year, 25-26. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
Might just say one quick thing. In Mr. Linden's absence, he is in favor of this, so I think everybody's heard that it's community accepted, so.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Johnny,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am. Item 9.03, 2025-2026 RCPS pay plan. Mr. Jim Bradshaw.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Nicely. Each year, part of the budget process, we bring forth the pay plan for next school year. This year, there's not many changes in the pay plan. You have it in front of you, but I'll be glad to go over some things if you have any questions. But the main things right now, we're not doing any scale shift for the teacher side or the support side of the scales. But we did add the middle school assistant coaches as recommended prior, so those are all now in the new pay plan. So if you have questions, I'll be glad to entertain those, but this would be something that staff recommends approval as part of the budget process.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the proposed pay plan?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
Just one item that, no question, just that hopefully this isn't the end of our compensation. The budgets from the state haven't been meshed yet, right? And so hopefully we get some monies in the future that we can also come back and revisit this. So, while this isn't where we want to be yet, we want to hopefully do a little better. And so we're just waiting on that, on the governor and the state legislature to kind of come together and give us the money that would be allocated to us.
Yeah, Mr. Greenwood, we'd gladly make all the changes, whatever that, we find out the final number, and we'll bring it back to you at that point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other discussion?
I think that's a good point, Mr. Greenway. I know that all of us have received several emails from concerned teachers in regards to the current numbers, and we will work to try to find more to do better.
And I'm sorry, but one more thing. We have 30-plus year employees that, we've heard from a few. And, again, that's something we hope for. This isn't the final version, but this is where we have to be until we know more about the budget that comes to us, so.
And I think it's important to communicate that because when do the contracts go out for the following year?
May 9th is our plan.
So.
So
yeah,
we have some time. We just don't have a lot of time.
I just
We'll-
don't want any of our staff, our good staff, to jump ship. So I think it's important for them to know that we're doing everything we can to level it up.
And we're gonna fight for that. Let's just, go there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Tajani,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am. Item 9.04, 2025-2026 Annual Budget, Health, Dental, and Vision Insurance Benefits, Ms. Susan Peterson.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. I want to take a few minutes to review some important updates regarding our health, dental, and vision insurance rates. And the book in front of you, it's sectioned off. There's a cardstock paper with each board report, and then behind that are all of the attachments. So if you'll go to the second section of your spiral bound book, that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with the health insurance. We do continue to participate with Roanoke County and the Western Virginia Regional Jail to collaborate on a self-funded health insurance program. Each entity does fund its own claims, and we continue to have a stop-loss reinsurance policy of $250,000 to limit our exposure to high-dollar claims. We have made some significant changes to the school board plans for the upcoming year, and I'll review some of those changes. We are introducing a third plan that is a high-deductible health plan with a $3,400 single and $6,800 non-single deductible, and a $6,000 single, $12,000 non-single out-of-pocket maximum. This plan pairs with a health savings account and features lower premiums. We are introducing an HMO plan, which do not change the benefits of the plans themselves, rather just the network providers to help reduce costs. To be eligible for in-network benefits, Virginia providers who must participate in HealthKeeper's HMO, and providers outside of Virginia must participate in Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO network. Both the 2,000 and 3,400 plans will use the HMO plan providers. We are introducing a health savings account for employees enrolled in the 3,400 plan. We will provide employer contributions of $1,200 for single and $2,400 for non-single members who engage in the wellness program. We removed non-wellness premiums and will now provide employer contributions for the HRA and HSA to employees participating in the wellness program. The health insurance premiums for all three options are the first page behind the board report in your book. Moving on to the dental insurance plan, we do remain part of the consortium with Roanoke County, the jails, and the city of Roanoke. This is a fully insured plan. There are no changes to the benefits, and the premiums remain stable through a blended rate calculation, and these premium information is in the next page on your list. For the vision insurance plan, we continue to offer the 100% employee paid benefit with no changes to the benefits or premiums. The premiums are set by the vendor annually. And the vision insurance is the last page of this section. So that is a summary of all three of the insurance plans planned for next year. If there are any other questions at this time, I can answer those for you.
I'll just keep it to the other comment. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask if we have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I'll second. Discussion?
This does concern me a little bit, and I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say that. I know that I've been assured that it's 98% coverage of current medical providers that our staff sees. I'm not an insurance specialist, obviously, but I am in a unique situation personally with insurance and with a sick child, obviously. So these kinds of things worry me. I hope that what we've been told is true, and I see no reason to vote no. But it does bother me because, again, it affects 40% of our employees. But I'm hoping that this will, in fact, come true and save people money and not create a problem for folks who need medical care.
Do you have further discussion? Sure.
So I'd like to say that Mr. Hudson has brought this forward a couple times, and I do agree that it's a bit concerning. You know, for the change in plans, I hope everything works out a little better than where, you know, worst case scenarios have kind of came in. But I think this is the best option for the vast majority of our staff. So I'm hopeful you make changes. I really wish we could add another option, you know, have a few more options. I've been told that's not a great idea, but you know, also keep in mind, as I just stated before, that this is not our last pass at our salaries. So hopefully we can add some to that to help offset some of the increased costs. And as everyone knows, health insurance is just a absolute beast of expenses and, you know, circumstances that arise. And so we're cognizant, we don't take this lightly, but we think we've came up with the best plan of policies that will fit our staff as best we can, but there are some concerns. Thank you.
Ms. Clements? So, yeah, we don't make any decisions without a lot of thought and effort. I know Ms. Clements has been on the phone multiple times with our consultants. I've done a lot of homework too. And, you know, I'm pleased with these new healthcare options that we're going to be offering. And I can assure you again, there's been countless hours that have been put into this. You know, health keepers, I think it's a scary word, HMO, for some reason, because everybody thinks of when the HMO was years ago. But Health Keepers has over 25,000 in-network providers across Virginia, 25,000 in-network providers. So, and then if you're traveling and if you have to go somewhere out of state, the Blue Card PPO, and Ms. Clements confirmed this today, that network provides in-network benefits at major hospitals nationwide. And that's nationwide, and that's quite impressive. So there's preventative care, there's 24/7 virtual doctor visits, they're free. And of course, emergency care is always covered, even, you know, at a network. So our consultants have assured us that, you know, we have an extremely low disruption rate, like Mr. Hudson mentioned, and the plan will bring us substantial savings that benefits employees and our division. And right now, we all know we've got to tighten up our the proverbial bootstraps and make some changes because the healthcare costs are rising. So this is strategic, but it's to ensure sustainability and to make sure that everybody has affordable access to healthcare.
Thank you. I would just add to what Ms. Fashani was saying. We have spent a lot of time, I personally have spent a lot of time on the phone with different consultants and brokers trying to figure out what the best option is for everyone. I think we were trying to offer some new items, some variety to this, to give some different options. And as she mentioned, I did confirm again today that doctors that are in the state of Virginia at hospitals, those would be covered. They are part of the plan. So if someone did have to go to UVA, they would be covered. And then we talked about doctors that are outside of the state. And again, it would revert back to the PPO, and so those doctors would also be covered. So I was assured that there would be no concern for those that choose to go with the health keepers. So as she also said, none of these decisions are taken lightly. We've put a lot of thought and effort into this, and we're trying to make the best decisions that we can. And I think that we've done that, and I think that we've tried to provide some different options, including the HSA. So I think we should feel good about the efforts that have been put forth. So.
And thank you, Susan, for all your
Yes, thank you.
your help with this.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fajani,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clements.
Yes, ma'am. Item 9.05, 2025-2026 Annual Budget Approval, Student Fee Schedule, Ms. Susan Peterson.
I would like to ask you to turn to your third section of your spiral bound book. I presented the 2025-2026 student fee during the budget work session on February 13th. There have been no changes to what was previously presented. Notable fee increases do include PE uniforms, adult education welding classes, AP tests, breakfasts, and lunches. These updates are highlighted in the attached policy changes. Additional fees may be applied for property damage, field trips, and other allowable cost-based activities. We do remain committed to supporting families facing financial hardship, so fee reductions or waivers are available for any family that needs it, and they should contact their principal. Our fee schedules do comply with the Code of Virginia, and the required policy updates to the school board policy 4.12 are included in the materials. You have the summary page, the edited policy, and the final policy on there. So I can answer any questions on the student fees.
Do we have a motion to approve the student fee schedule?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Buchanan?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, ma'am. Item 9.06, 2024-2025 Annual Budget Approval, 2025-2034 Capital Improvement Plan, Ms. Susan Peterson.
Now, if you would move to your fourth section in your spiral bound book, I did present the 2026-2035 Capital Improvement Plan, also known as the CIP, during the budget work session on January 30th. There have been no changes that was previously presented to you. Once the school board approves the CIP, it will be conveyed to the county, and they will include it in the countywide plan. The first column in the CIP does become the basis for our capital projects budget for 2026. And the future years do remain flexible for future planning. This plan does represent our commitment and our responsibility for investing in our schools. And I can answer any additional questions on the CIP.
Do we have a motion to approve the capital improvement plan?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Buchanan?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, ma'am. Item 9.07, 2025-2026 Annual Budget Approval, Ms. Susan Peterson.
All right, if you would please move to your last section of your spiral bound book. The annual budget is the vital tool in ensuring that our schools provide high-quality education while remaining fiscal responsibility to our taxpayers. Over the past several months, the school board has dedicated significant time reviewing, discussing, and refining the budget in front of you. We have held 4 work sessions and a public hearing and have carefully evaluated priorities, revenue projections, and balanced the needs of students, staff, and stakeholders through this process. Today, I am presenting the proposed 2025-2026 annual budget, which remains unchanged from the version I presented last Thursday. As a reference point on pages 3 through 6, we do outline the budget changes and requests that have been discussed in earlier work sessions. The first column represents a worst-case scenario if the governor maintains the current biennium budget and if tax rates are reduced by the county. The second column is based on the governor's budget from December, and there are no changes to the county's tax rates. And the third column is our pie in the sky. It is the General Assembly's budget and no changes to the tax rates. So as you can see, you do have 3 different options in front of you. The budget that we are going to adopt tonight is the middle column, and the total breakdown, which is shown on page 7, is $282,794,199. Page 7 does break it down by fund and category. And then pages 8 and beyond will break it down by fund, the specific revenue source and expenditure category, along with any long-term replacement plans that support the relevant sections. This budget is built on the governor's December proposal, although the General Assembly has recently passed a conference budget with additional school funding inside it. We are taking a conservative approach until the governor signs the final budget. Our collective efforts have resulted in a budget that sustains and enhances educational excellence, supports our dedicated educators and staff, and invests in our students' futures. We deeply appreciate the invaluable input from our school board members, our administrators, our staff, our stakeholders, and everyone else throughout this process. As required, once this budget is approved, we will convey it to the County Board of Supervisors by the April 1st deadline, and then we will present it to the County Board of Supervisors at their April 8th meeting. So I can answer any questions on the actual budget.
So I do have a couple questions.
Do you want, that's okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you have questions for her, or do you want to do discussion, is that?
However you want to do it.
I guess it depends on what your questions are.
Why? So I'll just go with it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you want to do the motion first.
Okay,
So moved.
I'll second.
okay, discussion.
So, a couple questions. One, and I should have asked this before now, as I think about it. How do we come up with the proposed revenue from Roanoke County? How does that,
They provide it to us.
they just tell us what their proposed revenue is gonna be? And we just have to go with whatever they give us?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, if there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, should be a 6% reduction in real estate taxes, they're gonna come back and wanna take that back from us?
Yes. And that was the first column that we presented. We presented a reduction of the tax rate by 1%. That was just an
So
estimate.
you've already got that in here.
It's in the first column, but it's only 1%, and we don't know if that's real or not real, or we just
So,
something together.
so look, the revenue sharing agreement's a great thing. It's really a well thought out thing by Mr. McNamara and Mr. Roanoke back in the day. And maybe, I wasn't here 20 years ago, but maybe, nobody ever picks this up. I'm expecting somebody to ask somebody smarter than me. But it was it proposed 20 years ago, and it's still proposed today, and nobody's ever questioned that it's actual revenue sharing agreement. And, you know, when we talk about this reduction, we ought to at least say in rebuttal is, look, you've got us for about 17 million over the last 4 to 5 years. You know, don't come back to us and try and take some of that real estate tax credit back, because it should be huge. I'm gonna say it again. They received $15 million additional, somewhere in that ballpark last year. They gave a 2-cent credit on real estate taxes. What is that, 2.5 million, whatever it was, and then ask us for 600,000 or whatever that piece was to come back off the school budget. They're gonna do that again this year. The proposed revenue increase is $10 million. These are all conservative, believe that the citizens know more how to spend their money than the government does. And we're gonna then give a 1 or 2 cent reduction, which should be about 6 or 8 cent reduction, and come back to the schools and ask for that piece again when we've already given somewhere in the neighborhood of $17 million over the last 4 or 5 years in additional revenue. I just think at some point we have to have a set of guidelines that we follow. And so I'm sorry I keep bringing that up, and maybe we can have a discussion with them at some point about this. But, you know, I think it's something that ought to be said. So I say it. So there you go. And that's the only discussion I've got.
Thank you.
Well, and to add to that, nothing against the Board of Supervisors, but I believe our ADM projections were a little generous, so we're losing about, what was it, $500,000, Dr. Nicely? We're losing $500,000 out of the budget from that. So just let people know, I mean, we're trying to tighten things down because we are getting hit from multiple angles.
Good point. The reason we're so tight is we're in much better shape than most of Virginia counties, but, you know, the healthcare piece, we've took a big chunk of our budget to shore that up. So, you know, that, I forget, 2.6 million, whatever it was. So that needs to be said too. So, you know, let's, you know, and yeah, you can squeeze us again, squeeze all you want to. We have one of the best schools in the state of Virginia, school divisions in the state of Virginia, you know, and we're thrilled, we're happy that you give us the money. But let's put something down, you know, let's go by the revenue sharing agreement and let's square that up, and makes it a little easier to move forward. So thank you, and I'm sorry.
Okay. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fashani,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Item 10.01, Annual World Language Presentation, Dr. Paula Newbill.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, and Dr. Nicely and Dr. Soltis. I'm here to present our spotlight on world languages and ELL programs. And I do this in March because it's the language month. It's World Language Month. And the first week is always the World Language Week. So my focus this evening is on deeper learning and what that can look like for the language learner. I would like to highlight parts of this definition and then refer back to them as I go through my presentation. So the next slide will be the definition of deeper learning, and in that you'll see examples of engaging activities, real-world application, student choice, project-based learning, design challenges, and growth in various academic areas. And you'll be hearing those phrases over and over. The first thing that I want to talk about is a bit of news. The Seal of Biliteracy now, the seal has a designation as a high-demand industry workforce credential that just passed recently. And this is an excellent example of how our students can be opportunity ready after high school. And there are two pathways that a language learner can get the Seal of Biliteracy, and that's through the STAMP test or the AP test. And so now we'll focus on some activities and some awesome things that teachers are doing in their classes and out of their classes. So this is at the Taubman Museum, the Alphonse Mucha exhibit. It was an immersive experience. I don't know if you've been to it. It's amazing. And it was brought to Virginia from the Grand Palais in Paris, France. And this is Lisa de Crozant's French Club at Northside High School. They went on this trip, and the comment from the teacher was that the students learned about this incredible artist and how his work left an indelible mark on the city of Paris, printed advertising, and the Art Nouveau movement as a whole. So this is an example of an engaging experience outside the classroom and growth in other areas like art and the vocabulary for art. And that's one of the units for French AP. The next one is a Change the World project that Amy Boland does in her AP classes, her Spanish classes at Cave Spring High School. And this project is an example of real-world application and student choice. Students research a real-world issue like human trafficking, access to clean water, things like that, and they read and view authentic resources in Spanish. And then they write to a nonprofit related to this issue. They present their project in Spanish to fellow students and some staff. Students and staff select a project winner. Then the International Club holds a dinner to raise funds for the winning organization. And so the next slide has some pictures of these projects, and the one El Hambre, which of course, Dr. Nicely, you know what that means. Right? Of course he does. I mean, that was the winning project. And so the money went to the Action Against Hunger nonprofit. So we have classes changing the world. And then the next slide, this is another project about the same unit from the Spanish AP class. And this one is from Hidden Valley High School in Eli Harrison. It's the Sustainable Home Project. This is an example of a design challenge and the growth in another area, which is environmental vocabulary. Students get inspired by viewing the results of the architecture competition called El Primer Concurso Internacional de Arquitectura Sostenible and create the criteria for which to judge their classmates' designs. Students participate in their own sustainable home design competition using CAD, Minecraft, and or architectural drawings on paper. And then the students, based on their criteria that they had created, they vote on these through a survey. And so the next slide shows the different types of projects, and it's really interesting. And the ones on the far left are the two winners from the two classes. And they learn environmental vocabulary terms in Spanish, like solar panels and rain barrels. And it's really amazing when you read these excerpts of their writings. And these are just part of their writings in Spanish. I mean, they have really long writings, and it's amazing what they can do. The next one is about pen pals from a town near Lyon, France, Belleville, and this is a French class from Glenver High School. Rebecca Wright's classes do these pen pal exchanges with classes in Canada, classes in France, and we have other pen pal groups in Spanish in our county. We have lots of outreach. This is an example of an engaging and real-world activity. The article right here from Glenver's own Thistle publication shows that the class from Belleville, France, in the active panel there, on the active panel, and then the class in the classroom at Glenver High School. So they're talking in real time. Ms. Wright says that her classes write more than they normally would. when they're assigned a writing to do, because they're interested in building relationships with these students. So it's a really good motivator. The next one is the Manie Musicale, and it's actually a video.
In an international competition called Manie Musicale. It's a music competition formatted after March Madness, where songs in French compete, and people throughout the United States, Canada, and other countries vote on their favorites. If you would like to participate, you can look at the Manie Musicale website, or you can see me if you would like to vote.
So anyone in the school can vote. And it's a worldwide competition, and it's in the fashion of March Madness. And the Locura de Marzo is also the Spanish version that a lot of classes do. So, and it's really fun. One French teacher in another school said that her students still have the songs in their playlists from last year and the year before, and they know all the lyrics and they sing them. And it's like they're loving these bands now from these other countries. It's really amazing. And then the next one is Latin 1 from Glenver Middle School. Rachel Ranson is the Latin teacher there, and she has them do lots of project-based learning. She is very hands-on. And this is a good example of that. And the other academic areas that are highlighted would be history and geography. Students in Latin 1 created geographical maps of the Roman Empire by using clay to show elevation, length, and borders. They used modern-day reference maps, and so they can make comparisons from a long time ago to today, and they labeled the geographical elements in Latin. The next one's really interesting, too. The German classes from Alan Strecker's German classes at Northside High School collaborated with the culinary arts teacher. And this is an example of real-world application and growth in other areas of academics like math and culinary arts. Mr. Strecker collaborated with the culinary arts teacher during their food unit in order to bake 4 different kinds of German cookies last December. And the teacher said that this is not only reinforcing the vocabulary learned in our food unit, but also conversion units from metric to standard. For example, milliliters to ounces and grams to tablespoons, which you have to do when you go to almost any other country in the world. And then the next picture shows them baking the cookies. So they had a lot of fun. The next one is an ELL class at Burlington Elementary School, and it's Lynn Smith's ELL class where they used potatoes to produce electricity or to run the electricity through. This is an example of a design challenge and growth in other areas, for instance, science and writing. Ms. Smith used this challenge as a tool to teach sequencing signal words in writing, and students tried to light a bulb using a potato. They used 3 potatoes, nails, wires, and a low-voltage light bulb. They cover electrical circuits in 5th grade, so this was an activity that reinforced that science vocabulary. And the next one is Habitat for Humanity. This is an ELL project that Kathy Coates does with her students, her English learners, and they go to Habitat for Humanity homes. This is a service learning project for the VA U.S. government classes, and she arranges for them to go every year. She really is dedicated to her students. It's an example of real-world application, of course, and just getting outside the classroom and helping others. Student-led conferences are also, and that's a picture also of the Habitat for Humanity project that they did. Student-led conferences are a large part of our Opportunity Ready approach in elementary and middle school. Students may choose to present at these student-led conferences in their home language or in English alone, so they can do English and their home language or just English. Here we see a student presenting to his mother and his younger brother at Green Valley Elementary School. That was sent in by the ELL teacher, Kathy Austin. And now we have a few shout outs. So the first one is, these are 2 English learners. Well, one is in the monitor status and one is a direct learner, and they both won for their schools to represent their schools at the spelling bee. So we have Hiyam Eladima from Green Valley Elementary and Arnav Shah from Bonsack Elementary. It's amazing that I think learning different languages helps you with spelling, so we have a lot of good spellers in the ELL program. Shout outs to 2 teachers. The first one is for Brittany Martin, who presented at FLAVA. That's the Foreign Language Association of Virginia, and that was last fall. She's a Spanish teacher at William Byrd High School. This is part of what the executive board and conference team wrote to her. I'm just going to read a tiny part. As we all know, a conference's success is dependent upon its dynamic presenters and their interesting topics, and you certainly delivered in both regards. and the rave reviews are still coming in. One comment that caught my attention was she follows SOL guidelines and gave me practical ways to have students speak and even evaluate their own speaking skills. It was excellent. So that was written from one of the people who attended her session. So just like Brittany's teaching, I'm sure it was fantastic. The second teacher that we're highlighting tonight is, and we're giving a shout out to, is Ashley Leonard. She's an ELL teacher at Fort Lewis Elementary, Glenver Elementary, and Masons Cove Elementary. She is the Virginia Education Strategies Choice Grant recipient this year, and she chose to use her grant to go to the Innovative Schools Summit. And that's in Florida, and she's there right now, actually. She keeps sending me pictures. I'm in Florida. And she's participating in sessions on topics like engagement and motivation in culturally diverse classrooms and student accountability. So congratulations to Ashley. And that is all. So I just want to thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed hearing how our language programs in Roanoke County Public Schools reflect deeper learning through engaging activities, real-world applications, student choice, project-based learning, design challenges, and growth in various academic areas, not just languages. So it's just really something that touches all subjects. So thank you.
Thank you. I would just mention that Dr. Soltis and I got to meet the winners of that competition at Cave Spring High School when we were visiting last week. So they got to tell us about their project and why they chose it and what they're planning to do. And then they talked about the dinner as well, how they're going to raise those funds. And so it's pretty exciting. Yeah. Yeah, it was just fun to hear from them to explain, why they chose it. So very cool. Thank you. Item 11.01, hearing of citizens for non-agenda topics. Our first speaker is Jamie Umberger. During this portion of the meeting, citizens are invited to address the board on matters of public concern and exercise of their First Amendment rights. In the interest of time, speakers must be either parents, employees, students, or citizens of Roanoke County. We ask speakers to be respectful and civil in their comments, observing due respect of the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by public comments. Speakers should be aware that they may be held legally responsible if they make statements that violate the legal rights of others. For example, if statements are made that are defamatory or threatening. Complaints about specific school personnel should be addressed outside of this meeting to the appropriate school administration, who will address those concerns as appropriate through existing complaint procedures. Comments likely to disrupt the board's work or prompt a breach of the peace are prohibited, and the speaker will be called out of order by the board chair. Speakers must address the board chair rather than individual board members. Speakers have 3 minutes to make their comments and will be signaled by the lights on the podium. When the light turns yellow, please wrap up your comments and finish before the light turns red. Please be aware that board members listen to comments but do not respond. Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Jamie Umberger, a junior at Glenver High School. I'm here to discuss the transgender policy in our schools, a topic personally significant to many students. I know policies can sound like a bunch of boring rules, but this one affects real people, students like me and my friends. It's about whether everyone in our schools feels safe, respected, and like they belong. I've seen firsthand how much it means to people to be called by their correct name and pronouns. It's not just about being polite. It's about recognizing who someone truly is. We have American flags in every classroom, but teachers can't show support for LGBTQ students. The flag is supposed to represent freedom for everyone, but it seems like we're only welcoming and allowing freedom for some students. Roanoke County Public Schools boast about not discriminating based on gender, but their transgender policy is straight up discriminatory. The current policies in Roanoke County enforces the use of students' dead names and incorrect pronouns. Imagine constantly being called something you're not. It would make you feel like no one sees the real you. The proposed policy enforces the use of students' dead names and incorrect pronouns. And any gender-segregated space or activity will assign students based on their sex of birth, unless legal documentation of changed name or gender is submitted. We say the Pledge of Allegiance every morning, one nation, indivisible. But Roanoke County's policies on transgender students are dividing us. How can we promise liberty and justice for all when some students are treated unfairly? And some of the reasons people give for these policies just don't add up. I've heard some say it's to protect kids, but the thing is, research shows that when transgender and non-binary youth feel accepted, their mental and physical health gets way better. What's even more messed up is that LGBTQ people are more likely to become victims of sexual violence, not the other way around. According to research, LGBTQ people 16 plus are nearly 4 times likely to experience violent victimizations compared to non-LGBTQ plus people. Focusing on LGBTQ plus people as offenders distracts from the real issue of keeping all students safe. I know that Glenvar High has a pretty good community. Glenvar High School has 621 students enrolled. We're not perfect, but I feel like most people here want to do the right thing. About 10% of the students are minorities. We need to think about how these policies affect everyone, especially those who already feel like they don't fit in. So I'm asking the school board to really think about what kind of message these policies send. Do we want to be the school district that protects and values all students, or the one that makes students feel like they don't belong? Let's make Roanoke County Public Schools a place where everyone can be themselves and focus on learning. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Remy Poindexter.
I apologize, my printer broke, so I'll have to address you from the phone. My name is Remy, and I'm proud to have graduated from William Byrd, class of 2018. High school was a really difficult time for me and my friends. I'm sure it's gotten harder. We all hear the things kids say when they're young and thoughtless. We had a merry band of misfits thing going on. We all grew up feeling profoundly different. Some of us knew very early on where we fit into the queer community, but others had to walk the long way around. Some had very supportive families. Others weren't as lucky. I'd like to tell you a story about a day RCPS did right by us. Another student and a good friend of mine knew who he was much sooner than his parents were ready to accept him. Like many of us, he struggled with mental health problems associated with the constant scrutiny of being very different in a world that doesn't value that equally. His parents were receptive to help, until professionals told them the best way was to support him was non-medical transition, a name and a pronoun. Suddenly he needed a new therapist. Therapy quickly fell to the wayside. With tension at home growing, he began to confide in us how badly he needed help, and often spoke to a trusted school counselor. Soon, my friend's pleas weren't for help, but for an end by any means necessary. I'll never regret taking care of each other, but it occurs to me now in adulthood that children similarly struggling shouldn't have to serve as life preservers for their friends. They should be able to rely on adults in their lives, namely their parents, and failing that, their trusted staff members at school. When I couldn't keep our heads above water anymore, I took the advice of a phenomenal teacher and went to guidance to beg for help. I had this heavy feeling that if he went home for the weekend, he wouldn't come back. I'll tell you what I told my counselor that day. Some of these kids are hurting. Their parents know, but would choose to withhold care because they don't like what doctors and therapists have to say. That night, he was admitted to the hospital for life-saving treatment that never would have come without intervention. One of his parents spent the night harassing me from his phone, calling me the monster. They trashed books and art from his room while he was admitted. In spite of it all, he came home again with renewed spirit, looking forward to graduation. Hope for a future was able to reach this student because the faculty of WBHS chose to support us in a crisis. Many parents hear about litter boxes in schools, surgeries during lunch, and other myths meant to make supporting trans kids sound much scarier than it is. It's so much simpler than that. We must uplift our trans kids so we can watch them grow into trans adults who make art, do research, and bring all the wonderful contributions to the world they could be free to pursue without the weight of guilt and shame. It's 2025. My friend lives independently. He gets promotions at work, and his art has been shown downtown. I'm so proud of the person he's grown into. In these fraught times when people feel so emboldened to share their worst thoughts and truth is drowned out by reactionary fiction, I urge you to do everything within your power to protect LGBTQ students and faculty. We've become accustomed to a very casual hatred, and we cannot allow it to become our normal. Someone must advocate for these children when their biggest bullies live in the home. I'd like to close by thanking the staff of William Byrd who helped us in 2018, wherever they all are now. It's a very dangerous time to be an empathetic leader, but I know the students entrusted to them will be in good hands. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item 12.01, report by Roanoke County Schools Superintendent, Dr. Nicely.
Madam Chair, members of the board. First of all, I want to congratulate Northside High School. Last week, right after the work session, we went over there to see their career fair that they had put on in the gym. I know Dr. Hughes had a hand in supporting that, but it was really amazing to see how many businesses they were able to get out specifically for Northside High School. And not only see students come out to learn what businesses and jobs are out there that are offered to them, but also their parents coming along to see that as well. I think that's a hugely important part of that. These past 2 weeks have been reasons to celebrate the successes of our seniors involved in their Opportunity Ready Graduate Learning Defenses at all 5 high schools. I know some of you have been able to get out and see those. I've been very impressed with the students' ability to present their evidence of skill development around communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. This effort takes a lot of coordination and effort by the principals and teachers, and I want to thank them as well as the seniors who participated. Last week, of course, we also celebrated our Roanoke County Schools Golden Apple Teacher of the Year, Dr. Matt Neal from Hidden Valley High School, who was named by the VDOE as the Regional Teacher of the Year with a surprise assembly. And Dr. Neal will be in the running for State Teacher of the Year, and we wish him the best of luck. We were able to attend a lunch on Tuesday with the Williamson Road Area Business Association at the Civic Center, where we talked about our Opportunity Ready Graduate Program and invited businesses to partner with us on the new RCCTC. About 150 business leaders were in attendance, and judging by the questions they posed at the end of our presentation, the message was well received, and there's a lot of interest out there in the work that's being done, especially with the new RCCTC. The Education Foundation's annual backpack run is this Saturday, and we want to thank the business sponsors and runners who are participating in that, and invite folks to come on out and still participate. Mr. Lineberg will probably take a few more runners if we want to. Okay, that's a good answer. So that's right.
Ken, are you running?
I'm going to be out there, and my job, Ms. Facciani, is to show them where to turn around.
That's right. You got
at
the
the
big
strategic
signs
point.
there.
So I'm very good at that.
I'm busy that day too.
I'll tell you what. I'll go out there and run if Mr. Greenway will run with me.
Okay, good.
We'll
I'm
tag
busy
team.
that day. I don't know what day it is, but I'm busy.
I'll be in Richmond.
Yeah, and Ms. Facciani, I will mention Monday, April 22nd, or 1st, excuse me, and also April 22nd, we're having an inspirational speaker come in, Laura Sisler, who's very well known as an ESPN broadcaster, but also has a memoir called Shatterproof, which is all about overcoming adversity in her own life, and it's a personal story, but also an inspirational story. And those evening programs are going to be open to all Roanoke County parents and families and students to come out and to hear her. So I encourage everybody to put that on your calendar, April 21st and 22nd. Next week, of course, is spring break, and we want to wish everyone a restful and safe break from school.
Thank you, Dr. Nicely. Item 13.01, reports and inquiries of board members. Mr. Greenway, would you like to go first?
Sure. Thank you. So I'm going to go over a few things that we talked about earlier, but I want to make sure our staff understands that we are not finished, hopefully, with bringing some salary adjustments to help offset the insurance piece, and then also our 30-plus years employees that we hopefully will address that as well in the coming month. So one of the nicest things about the last few weeks was we got to see some warmer weather, right? And as you go around and see some of the schools, you get to see the kids out on the playground having a good time. So it was fun to see them back outside and playing around outside. But it also hit me when I seen those kids outside playing, about 2 months left, and we're graduating again. Seems like we just went through this. I know. But it goes quicker and quicker. Maybe it's me getting older and older. But so we're not far from, celebrating another class of students that will be leaving us and moving on into the real world, so to speak. So it's amazing how much happens in the school division and how quickly it goes. Last, I want to address this. I'm probably beating a dead horse, I get it. But 24, 25, if I have this right, we increased Roanoke County revenue through real estate taxes and different taxes. Our assessments went up, so the taxes went up. We didn't raise taxes. 15 million. If nothing changed in 25, 26, we'd still get that 15 million, right? And on top of that, we're expecting revenue to increase 10 million. Take away the surplus that we never got for revenue, there's another 5 or 6 million. Somewhere in the neighborhood of the last 2 years, revenue's been raised in Roanoke County, $46 million. Nobody crucify me that I'm off $1 million or $3 million or $4 million. Seems like to me, this is a very good year for a little bit of assistance to help with our staff salary issues and insurance snafu. So if we were ever going to ask for a little bit of revenue, from our last 4 or 5 years of 17 million of surplus that we should have gotten, now's the time, throw out a carrot of, send us 4 million additional and we'll let the other 17 go. If none of that happens, I think we ought to address the actual revenue versus projected. If it's a revenue sharing agreement, and again, they can stick the screws to us, they can stop the revenue sharing agreement, and we can go to them all the time. Whatever floats their boat. We're elected officials. We are here to look after our schools and our school division. First off, we're one of the top school divisions. Nobody can argue in the state of Virginia. And secondly, if it's a revenue sharing agreement, we all divvy up our surpluses at the end of the year. I don't know why we don't divvy up revenue surplus as well. So at some point, somebody's going to hopefully address that and or at least say Greenway's got a problem, and that would be okay too. So, but we've got money out there that should be coming to the schools, and it's not getting any cheaper to educate our kids or any easier, and we do a great job with what we have. So thank you, and thank you for giving me that time.
Thank you. Ms. Fashani?
Yes, thank you. So, as Dr. Nicely mentioned, I had the chance today to attend some of the Opportunity Ready portfolio presentations at Hidden Valley, and they were impressive, right, quite impressive. And I want to just take my hat off to Dr. Nicely for getting that program started, because it really is going to make a difference throughout our entire division. So the students clearly worked very hard, and their creativity shined through. The presentations were incredible. They worked on essential skills, as Dr. Nicely mentioned, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. And these are all crucial skills for them as they go out to be successful later in life, no matter what they do. It was really inspiring. I want to just take a second to also thank the staff, because not only are the students working hard on these projects, our staff have to put in time to hear all the projects and the presentations, and it's a lot of presentations, and each kid or student rather is probably presenting for 10 to 15 minutes, and multiply that by a lot of students, that's a lot of listening. And again, it's just very impressive, and I really thank our educators for making this possible. Dr. Nicely also mentioned this, Dr. Matt Neal. I want to give him heartfelt congratulations for being named the Region 6 Virginia Teacher of the Year. It was quite the event, having people come down from Richmond to give him that award. I think he was quite surprised. I really do think he was surprised. It's a very prestigious award, and it recognizes excellence in teaching, and it's a significant honor in our state. And the achievement not only recognizes and celebrates Dr. Neal's outstanding contributions, but it also puts him up to be recognized at the state level. So we'll wish him luck as he goes on to the next competition, and his name will be in with a bunch of others, and he has the chance of being the state winner, and then he could actually go on to be the national winner as well. So it's very exciting. His dedication to the students is so evident. Everybody came up to hug him afterwards, and it was really a congratulatory moment for him. And I'm just so excited to see what's happening at Hidden Valley, especially with Dr. Neal inspiring all the students around him. I visited the CTC building yesterday, and it was a beautiful day to go up there, but just wow. It's magnificent. The piece of land itself is incredible, and the strides that they've made despite the weather. We've had some pretty bad weather, but they continue to make just gains with the pads being poured down, the footers. I don't really pretend to know all the ins and outs of it. I do have a child in building construction. It's just a whole nother language for me. But Wes did a good job explaining to me, this is where this is and this is where this is, and it was really cool. So I'm really looking forward to the future opportunities that our students are going to enjoy there. Lastly, as Dr. Nicely also mentioned, I'd like to plug once again the event with Lauren Sisler. Nancy Hands has been working on this for a while, and the first event actually had to be rescheduled, but we're so excited that she's coming back. So Lauren Sisler is a local graduate from RCPS, and now she is a successful ESPN sports broadcaster. It's really exciting. So she has quite the story to tell of resilience and hope, and I really encourage people to come out with their family members, students, parents. Oftentimes it's disappointing. These events go on. We try hard to put them on, and then we have low attendance. And I know everybody's busy. We've got spring sports. We have a lot of other things going on, but this is one that you don't want to miss. I know Lauren's story. I've listened to her podcast, and it's quite a fascinating story. So that's April 20th and April 21st. Mark your calendars, and there will be more information on that soon to come. Thank you.
Mr. Hudson?
Thank you. First, I'd like to start out by congratulating Glenver High School's boys swim. They won state championship, and we had several students who won individual state titles with that. And actually, one of the students, Connor Wilkes, I went over and listened to his Opportunity Ready portfolio. I did that both at Glenver and Northside, and what a breath of fresh air to hear those students talk about what they plan to do after school. One kid from Northside, very well spoken, and he has an internship at G.J. Hopkins, and he was talking about the passion he had for being an electrician. And one of the folks on the board asked him, well, how do you measure the pipe when you're going around bends and you're having to elevate? And you could just see the fire in his eyes. He lit up and he said, it's easy. Let me show you how to do it. And he basically drew a diagram and showed us how to do it with a math equation. But it's just really neat to talk to these kids and see the passion they have. And another one I spoke to was on the opposite end of the spectrum, who had won a full scholarship at Hollins for being an artist. And you might have actually seen some of her art. Some of it's hanging outside there, but also the big mural on the side of the Water Authority building in downtown Roanoke. She did that. The painting was taken, that she won the contest, and she didn't actually paint the mural, but that's her painting. To listen to her speak and the passion she has for art and music was just really a breath of fresh air to see these kids and starting out in their career paths. And also, like Mr. Greenway said, we have one of the best divisions in the state, and I think that is the direct reflection of our staff. Matter of fact, I know that's what it is. And it is disappointing, and it's been a few months back, but we were provided with pay rates for districts similar to our size locally here in Virginia. And we're not first in starting pay, we're not first in mid-cap pay, nor are we first at the top of the scale. And that does concern me. We should always strive to be first. I don't want to be second at anything. But we're going to keep working on this pay raise thing. And for our 30-plus year employees, a couple years ago that was brought to our attention and we fixed that. So our hope is that we can do that again. Also with the benefits piece, I know there's a lot of concern with the health insurance and other things, and I just feel like that we've got to do better. We've got to try to find the money to properly compensate our staff. And, what I do for a living is no secret. I've been a law enforcement officer for a long time, and I kind of look at it, we are the same as teachers in a lot of different ways. One, you don't get into it to become rich. Teachers do not get into this line of work to become rich. Neither do police officers. It's a calling. But it is one of the most honorable positions. Both positions are one of the most honorable that you can put yourself into. And there is no reason why people who are doing this profession should struggle. And, I've been blessed with a very good position. But before I took this position 10 years ago in management, I was one of those that struggled for money. And I'll tell you, I worked 15 years in the profession at the time and was a police officer out patrolling the roads, keeping the community safe. And I made $46,000 a year, and that was with 2 promotions. 2 children on insurance, that $46,000 doesn't go very far. So I understand directly what our teachers are going through. Even a teacher at a mid-cap is $60,000. $60,000 by today's standards, that doesn't provide a whole lot. And $100 a month, $200 a month addition for benefits, and we all know that our electric bills are higher than they've ever been before. We know our grocery bills are higher than they've ever been before. So, we keep all this in mind, and we're going to do our best. We truly have the best interest of our staff at heart, because without you, we would not be one of the top districts in the state. So we all pretty much have children or grandchildren in this system. It's a passion to us, and we're going to continue to fight to get the best benefits and pay we can. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said.
I'm just going to talk about a few of the events that I've been able to attend over the last few weeks. We were able to visit the Roanoke County Science Fair. I enjoy this event each year. Tammy Sauls is the supervisor of science, and she does an amazing job putting it together. And it's a lot of fun to see the students, speak with them about their projects, why they chose their projects, what they learned. And they were all just so well-spoken and spoke with such confidence. So really fun event to attend. Also got to visit Penn Forest for their STEM night. Principal Griffin was here earlier talking about their award that they received. She does a great job, puts in a tremendous amount of effort to this event. It's very well attended, and it's a lot of fun. The highlight this year was the new 4-H mobile STEM lab. It's state-of-the-art, and the kids and the adults enjoyed it. It was just a really cool thing to see. They also had some animals from Mill Mountain Zoo. The Virginia Tech Physics Department participated. The Roanoke County Robotics Rampage team was there, and the kids also had a chance to touch a pig's brain. I think it was pig. Was it pig? Anyway, so that was kind of the highlight. I did not touch the brain, but other people did. Also, the last few weeks, I've had an opportunity to visit Cave Spring Schools with Dr. Soltis and Dr. Nicely. I do love this. We try to go twice a year, once each semester. It's just fun to be in the classroom, talking to the students and the teachers. I'm always so impressed with how smart our students are and how polite they are. Their manners are amazing. They're so sweet. They're so excited to see us. They love to tell us their stories. Even at the high school level, they like to talk to us and tell us about what they're doing, as we talked about earlier. So I just enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. One of the highlights was that we got to see at Green Valley Elementary, they have a book vending machine. So it looks like a vending machine, but instead of snacks, there's books at different age levels. And so the kids can earn chances to take a trip to the vending machine, and they get books. And it's just a really cool thing. And it's even got like the Green Valley Cardinal on it. It's all been decked out for them. So it's a lot of fun. And the kids, as they walked by us, they were staring at it, looking at what books were in it, so that was really fun. So thank you to all the students and staff for allowing us to come into your classrooms. We just enjoy being able to see all of the things that you're doing. So that's all I have, as long as we don't have anything else. I hope everyone has a wonderful spring break, and meeting adjourned.